Free her now, and mayhap you will leave this place alive.
You do not understand, mercenary. You will take this job, or your sister will pay with her life.
Mayhap.
Hi, I'm Mandy, but you can call me Mandibles. Welcome to another episode of Master or Disasterpiece, where I share the most memorable games I come across. They can either be really good or really bad. Whatever it is that makes this game special, I'm here to tell you all about it. Today, we're playing Two Worlds, so let's get into it. Before launching the game, I just want to say that this is the cover art and it's 6.9 gigabytes. Oh, and this game also promotes the use of condoms when it asks you to start in safe mode. So far, off to a great start.
The death of Azeroth, the god of the orcs.
Last time, I don't think I did a good enough job to explain the various systems I was referring to. That's why this time, we'll look at the game together, from the beginning. You will experience it the same way that I did, for better or for worse.
With the death of Azeroth, there came a strange new magic to the land.
The music's really nice, but the HDR slider should just be called Bloom Vomit. Have a look at what changing it does. The slider layout is really confusing and the sound effects are annoying. Nevertheless, we managed to create Mr. Omega Chat McGigaface, and off into the game we go. Apparently, we're on horseback with some boob lady who is too weak to hold on to us, and we're too stupid to make sure she's alright. I'll have to assume she's the same boob lady from the cover art we saw earlier, but the pixels are too few to tell exactly. Oh, and they talk as if they're a bunch of uninterested high schoolers reciting a theatre play for the first time. Listen to this dialogue.
Why did you not tell me? You will bleed to death. This wound may become infected if I do not see to it.
Let us go on. Please.
Hush. They will not find us in such a storm as this.
We leave, and then there's a man in a dark armor ominously threatening boob lady.
So you thought you could escape me?
Zeus just contacted me to say that if you don't like the video now, Thunderbolt and Lightning shall keep raining onto Omega Chat McGigaface. And that's apparently very, very frightening.
We can pass the night here.
And then Boob Lady gets stolen. Who could have seen that one coming?
Kira? Kira?
Flash forward, the rain finally stopped. The other NPCs also sound like they've never taken a voice acting lesson in their lives.
Are you that bounty hunter? They have found another body.
I shall wait.
Your sister is alive. Be in Telemont. Wait for us there. We will find you.
If Boob Lady from the cover art is our sister, you really have to wonder why she's sexualized so much. But I don't think I want to. The dialogue still sounds like I just opened a Duolingo store and need to be taking notes. Also, about the lip sync, there isn't any. They just kind of move.
We found the bodies near the ruins to the north of here.
Did you look in the ruins?
Nay,
I want to be there.
as you wish.
Do you fear this place so much?
We're peasants, not soldiers.
You have done your part.
The music is way too epic for this dialogue. So is the sound design. Both are above average, while the dialogue is somewhere in the Mariana Trench. Give me a second to rebind my keys because I'm a digital goblin. It works though, so that's nice. What the hell is this movement, and why is it animated at like 3.5 frames a second? Also, there's a jump and a jump back. We'll see how that turns out to get used. To its credit, the game runs really well, but it's a shame that that's irrelevant since it doesn't really look the part. Looking at mediocre frames hundreds of times a second isn't going to make that frame look better. The shadows are just awful, and the models, aside from being old, just look out of place and disproportionate. Combat immediately reminds me of The Witcher 1. Curious, since this came out in the same year, if not earlier. The sword swings, the hit sounds, the floaty animations, it's not horrible, just showing its age. Dodging back works great if you don't press to move backwards, because moving backwards turns you around, which sucks. Because if you move backwards and then dodge backwards, you actually dodge into the enemy. I wish you could somehow lock onto people. We defeat the Groms and have to find our employer. Right, because I need to get that Christmas money I was waiting for. Just kidding, I don't have a job. But it's nice to think that the game assumes so. Tap and the mouse wheel both zoom in, but the tap cycling seems like the better choice because the mouse wheel just feels awful. It takes about 3 full rotations to zoom in, and it's not entirely clear how far in or out you can zoom. We go outside without a loading screen. Impressive for 2007. Why is this guy's head so damn small? This is what I mean with disproportionate. I know the distance-based model pop-in is normal for games of this age, but what the hell is this popping in and out? What resources are you saving with this game? I've tried comboing like The Witcher, hitting at different intervals, but timing doesn't seem to affect the attacks at all, so spam, left click, and dodge when needed seems to be the best strategy. Dodging back also cancels your current attack, so there's absolutely no penalty.
Aha!
Dying doesn't load the last save, but spawn you at a graveyard. Impressive, but why?
I'm alive again.
I would much prefer to load my save and not have to walk all the way back there. In my next bit of gameplay, I discover that I have a bow and equip it. I suck at aiming with it. Well, not real life me, but in this case, Gamma Chad McDonald face probably doesn't have the stats to properly use it, and so the arrows fly anywhere they want to, except where my target is.
If you pay your taxes too late, you'll end up there.
Wow, more real life stuff to relate to.
This sounds as if you're in need of my modest talents.
I have a small problem and I want someone whom I can trust.
How do you know you can trust me?
A friend of mine told me that you are trustworthy. I need a gift for my wife. She loves mountain crystals. Edvin of Broomhill has this crystal. He is an old friend and will probably sell it to me with no hesitation.
Why do I have to choose without knowing my role in this? He didn't even describe why I have to do this. I have no idea why you're sending me on this quest, why you need a mercenary to go buy something for you. Even if this quest turns out to have some really cool plot twists and writing, which I somehow doubt, this just feels like, go and do that. Don't ask why, because you're the player and nobody else could do this. The text reads like a badly written book. It just sounds like a badly written book, read badly out loud. Not even acted badly, just said badly. Since the dialogue is so abhorrently badly written and acted out even worse, I'll just shorten it from here on out. Have a taste of Two Worlds Epic Edition Abridged.
Stranger, wait. Recognize you. Bounty hunter. Employment?
Perchance.
Visit Delurna. The horse.
I will think about it.
It's good to see you, friend.
Farid. Society finally had enough of you, eh?
How true. My future in the society looks bleak.
What's there?
I'll fight some more goblins. I mean groms, and they keep making funny sounds. Then the very ominous, dark armored, important quest NPC is just standing there, menacingly. So I go up and talk to him.
You are not an easy man to follow.
Who are you?
I'm only a messenger.
Where, sister?
Nothing will happen to her. Goat's Cave, south of here. My masters await you there.
Why not here?
He told you, only a messenger.
Temperature is rising.
Why were the names green to indicate friendliness just a second ago? Choose one, game. Quick side note, game. Legs don't do that. Critical hits feel really nice, I have to say. Even though it took me a bit to realize that these are crits, not a part of a combo I somehow hit. What the fuck is this guy's armor?
And I should move out.
Leveling up the parry skill from 1 to 3 gives me 0, 0, and 0% chance to parry a hit with my left or right weapon. Marvelous. Which fucking names are red and which are green? Choose, game, choose. Right, we still have Boob Lady, I mean my sister to save, so onwards we go to where... That's right, the Goat Cave. But since I'm part of Gen Z and Gen Z can't understand cardinal directions, I get lost and fight some more wolves instead. Also, I've discovered that low on health sound loops infinitely.
Ah, that's interesting.
It can be quite a jam, to be honest. Then I get even more lost and find a cave, find some bandits, fight the bandits, then die. On my way back, I discover how well the game handles upward slopes. You're kidding.
What's that?
I come back to the same cave to be haunted by a spirit bear, to which my character replies,
Ah, very interesting.
and then I die to the same bandits again because they two-shot me. I keep trying a bit to see if I can outdamage the health regeneration, but I eventually give up. Normally, aside from giving up with the bandits, I would have given up playing right here. But since I've committed to showing you what this game has to offer, we might as well keep playing and see what the joke of a plot has in store for us. So we try again to fight the bandits. I learned how to use magic this time, so the fight is much easier. But then, disaster struck. I proceeded to play for 2 full hours and my recording corrupted. 90% of it is a complete slideshow. I think you can tell the exact moment that the encoder just said, no. No more frames for you. I changed some settings and recorded another full hour, but now the recordings seem to be fine on first glance, but these recordings turn out to also be corrupt. One humongous troubleshooting session later, I venture forth. Actually, on a side note, I found some ways to make my future recordings higher quality. So there you go. Higher quality Mandi.
Third time's the charm. Let's go and finally do this. This is 1,000,000 times more effort than I thought it was going to be put into this game. Right, where were we? Magic, yeah, it's magic. There's 5-ish multiple schools to choose from, and apparently you find magic just like you find gear. The game gets much easier when you use magic, because there's not only a spell with which I can heal, but also a flame wall that's really powerful, and going to prove to be my main strategy of fighting groups of enemies. Now we finally, totally not for the third time, defeat the spirit bear and the bandits, collect the reward, then talk to totally not a reskin evil green guy, followed by evil red guy who turns out to be not so evil.
They will never set her free when they have what they want.
I am here to make sure that this will not happen.
Talk with her sister, talk with red guy again, then green guy again, and then her sister again, followed by red guy again. TLDR, we need to find some pieces of a long-lost family heirloom, the key to Azra's tomb, the god of the orcs, because the green guy called Rice said so.
Free her now, and mayhap you will leave this place alive.
You do not understand, mercenary.
Mayhap
You will take this job, or your sister will pay with her life, and I shall not repeat that.
Mayhap.
Obstinacy is a family trait, I see.
Mayhap.
When you are ready to listen to reason, find Ganduhar.
I do not need your dog's body to find you.
I will forget to do you and Ganduhar, and that would not be good for you. Think upon my words.
Red guy likes our sister, so he's not totally evil. Maybe he's evil, but horny, whatever the case. He'll make sure green evil guy doesn't kill our sister when he gets what he wants. We also want to make sure we don't die. This plot is about as interesting as plain chicken breast with plain white rice. Yes, it's there. Yes, it works, but, like, why? Use some spices at least, game. Next, I find a stick and beat up some ghouls. This takes me a rather long while. 8 minutes, to be exact.
Ah, very interesting.
My gear is too low level for this fight, but it doesn't matter. There's a mana regeneration altar, so I'll never run out of mana, and there's a health regen altar, so it's very hard for me to die, but if I die, I just come back to life on the spot. I'd call that gameplay. If I wasn't talking to a friend on Discord at the time of recording this very fight, the tedium would have killed me.
Yeah.
Since you start with a healing spell, differentiating between healing altars and magic altars is pointless. You can't revive at magic altars, but there's almost no magic altar that doesn't have a gravestone nearby. Also, even at 800%, I have to do jump cuts because these fights took so goddamn long. This game has absolutely no notion of what the word balance even implies. At this point, I repeat the whole procedure with the orcs, and I'm just left thinking, this is too easy. This fighting is not interesting because I can either beat the enemies really easily, or I can really easily walk to an altar to regenerate, and then keep damaging them. Probably fun for extreme cheese fans, but not for me. I don't like cheese. I could continue to play this game, but honestly, I just want to be done. If you really want me to look at the whole plot, I'll do another separate video on this game. The best way to get me to do that would be to like the video. If you made it this far, please leave a comment that says mayhap. Not mayhaps, but mayhap. Two Worlds Epic Edition is a piece. Nay, it's one of the pieces of all time. That's my verdict. Is it a masterpiece? Is it a disaster piece?
Mayhap.
Click here to see the next episode in the series. If it hasn't come out yet, then it'll be whatever YouTube thinks is best for you to watch next. This video took a good long while to make, so I welcome any and all support, whether that's the like button and some feedback, or maybe you want to have a look at my Patreon, link in the description if you're interested.